Welcome back, guys, to another Dragon Ball Legends video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the equipment options as well as the team options for the newly released Super Saiyan Gohan and Trunks. This unit has some absolutely amazing Zenkai buffs, and due to their various tags, as you guys can see right here, they have a lot of equipments that we're going to be taking a look at, depending on how you want to build them in terms of offense and defense. With that being said, let's get straight into the first equip. And as if you guys have been around, you guys know how we usually do it. We go over a couple of the core equipments first. Like, these are equips that are always on this unit. You need to grind this if you're going to run the unit. And to start off, it's going to be the Bestowed Hope Awakened Gold equipment that did come out recently with Vegito Blue, like a month or so ago. A little bit before him, actually. And what this equipment does is it's a pretty simple special move damage, which is very important for this new unit, as they do not have an ultimate and they're very special move focused, and their special move is very good. And then health restore and HP, which is a amazing pairing to have on one equip together. Absolutely beautiful. Will help them a lot with their defenses. If you're noticing that your Gohan and Trunks are not really being that tanky, this is why. You're not running equips like this that are giving them the HP and the health restore, which work together very well. Now, the second side here obviously depends. You can run these guys strike base. It is heavily unrecommended because they do need to do blast parts to get their damage inflicted to really be like powerful. But at the same time, they do have pretty balanced stats. So if you do decide to build them strike based, you're not necessarily going to nerf them to the ground. They're just going to be a little bit worse than they would be at their peak. But with that being said, like I said, if you want to go strike base, you go strike here. If you want to go blast base, you go blast here. I would recommend farming at least 3 of each in terms of 3 blast attack, 3 strike attack. This equipment is very important, and pretty much every core future unit is running it. If you're running future at all, you should have at least 6 of this equipment, with 3 rolled for blast and 3 rolled for strike. With that, we're going to go into the second core equipment, which is going to be this new PvP gold equip that dropped. This gives them 15% strike attack, 10% HP, and 15% blast, which again plays into their double offense kind of standard. They can do strike or blast. But then the main thing is that this emphasizes a 12% blast attack for them, as they are a Episode Android Saga Z character. This is a very, very good equipment. This is a general equip that we get with every new unit. Usually whenever a new unit drops, there's a PvP reset, and the PvP reset drops the equip that is usually core on units, and that's what this equipment is. These are 2 equipments that make this unit very self-sufficient, and then from there you kind of just have to decide on your third equipment, and that's where these other options are going to be coming in. For some reason this tab does not want to move over, so we're going to have to jump around a little bit. Let's go over their defensive options first, because their defensive options are more limited than their offense ones. And for their defensive options, here is the first equip we're going to take a look at. It is the new Co-op Plat. Gives 10% to strike defense, 35% to blast defense. And then the major thing here is that it gives 20% to own blast defense if there's 2 or more tagged future battle members, as well as 10% HP. I'm going to go ahead and take a look at that Plat in game real quick, because that actually kind of looks wrong. No, that is correct. That is what this equipment does. And this is pretty solid equip, nothing too crazy though. This is obviously more so for a blast focused defensive kind of build, which right now it's kind of a mix. You're seeing some blast, you're seeing some strike, so you could use this one, but it's nothing too crazy. I initially, honestly, when I read this, I thought this was both double pure defense, and that's why I thought this was kind of crazy, but apparently it's not. And then I would kind of probably stay away from this equip, but this is a defensive option if you do want to run it. Then we have the Super Saiyan Goten equip, which this one is a very good one. This one gives health restore on the first slot, which is very good. It's either health restore or HP. You usually want that on your defensive equips. Then it's giving 20% to both of your defenses, and then an additional 15% pure defense to both strike and blast if you have a Hybrid Saiyan and a Saiyan battle member. For a lot of their teams, you are able to get that, and I do think this equipment's worth running, because with this unit, the way they're structured, if you're able to take hits, they will do very well for you, because they get buffs every time they take a hit, and they heal a lot. So if you have very good defense with them, it will be rewarding. Speaking of, there's a very similar equip here. This one does not have health restore, but instead has a base slot. If you're maybe a couple percentages short of getting enough for your double pure, you could run this one. And this one will give you 32% to your primary choice of offense, and then give you 12% to both defenses while giving 12% pure to both defenses. I would recommend that you run this equipment over the other one. They have basically the same conditions, and this one is just better. But if you have maybe this one you already have grinded and you want to pop that in there, you can go ahead and do that. those are pretty much all the defensive options you do have if you want to build them a little bit more defensive, which I don't think is a bad choice. They can definitely use it sometimes. Now, taking a look at their offense options, like I said, these two equips right here, you're going to be running them as core. And then your third equip depends if you want to build them defensive with one of these three, or if you want to go for an offensive build with all these other options that you do have. So all these other options here, starting off, we're going to take a look at the hybrid equip. This one is giving you 10% to both base offenses, while giving 20% to both base defenses and 10% pure. Pretty solid equip, not too bad, not too shabby. No HP is the only really bad thing about this equip, but this will make them hit very, very hard as you're getting 10% to both offenses and 10% pure to both offenses. Second equip here is going to be this. First, you'll have to deal with me. This one did come out a while ago. Does have a 20% defense slot 1, 15% to both offenses, and 10% pure, with the only condition being that you have to have a future Vegeta clan and a future PO. Both of those are pretty easy to get. The new 18 is a future PO, and the new Trunks and Gohan is a future Vegeta clan. So you can get that with them, and then they'll be able to run this equipment here. Now, this one is my personal favorite. I really like running this equipment on them when I run them on the hybrid team. And this one requires you to have a Kids Battle member, but when you do, it gives you 10% HP, 10% to strike defense, 15% to blast attack, and then a 10% pure strike attack and a 15% pure blast attack. This, I think, works very well for them as it's giving them every stat they want in the HP, the blast attack, and then a little bit of strike defense, nothing too crazy. But then it's also giving them access to a strike and a blast pure, primarily a blast one. And I think that works very well for them. The only caveat being that the only good kids member right now is Gotenks. So if you don't have Gotenks, you can't really utilize this equipment. But if you do have Gotenks, this is a must run on that third slot. Another future option here that we do have is the My equipment that dropped, I believe it was 2 seasons ago. And this one has 25% strike defense on the first slot, 12% base, and then 13 and 13.5% pures with 3 future battle members. Again, just a solid third pure option. Nothing too crazy, right? No HP, no health restore, no special move, nothing like that. But it is just a good baseline value of 12 and 13.5 in terms of the damage value. Now, this equipment's a little bit more controversial because this does require you to run a Vegeta Clan PO battle member, which the only one that's somewhat usable is obviously going to be the Mr. Top 10 Nappa that transforms into Vegeta. But this does give them a massive value in terms of their defense, giving them 10% health restore, 35% blast attack, and then 15% to both battle members, or both defenses, as long as you have a Vegeta Clan PO battle member. That will help them out tremendously defensively, but again, not too viable because it does require you to run a Vegeta Clan PO, which there's not very good ones. Now, complete opposite of the poll here. We have a very flexible equipment, which is this Awakened Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta equip. A long time ago, this equipment came out. This has 18% strike defense, 15% blast, and 15% blast defense, with an additional 15% pure as long as you have a God Key battle member for blast attack, and a strike attack as long as you have a Vegeta Clan battle member. This equip is a very flexible, good option to run. If you haven't grinded already, this is a very old equip. And the conditions on it are pretty easy to fulfill, whether you're running them strike or blast based. Now, the good old classic we have here is the Hybrid Saiyans Pure, giving you 8% to both offenses pure, as well as 15% strike defense. Obviously, you're going to be running this more so on a hybrid team. Even on a 2 hybrid setup, this equipment is very valuable. But I would recommend being careful because this first slot is very bad. Again, no HP, no health restore, none of that stuff. But it is going to give you a tremendous amount of pure value, as this is the highest pure amount you can get on an equip in the game. The final 2 options here that we're going to be looking at are the ones I do think are more so preferred for the units, and this is the new Awakened equip. This one is a little bit of a hassle to roll, but it is worth it. It does give you 20% strike defense, 15% blast attack, 15% blast defense, so you're getting a good amount of offense and defense value there. But then the big kicker is it's giving you another 18% base blast attack on your slot 3, putting the total value of this equipment at 32% base blast attack, as well as giving you 10% pure blast attack with a very easy condition of having either a Sun Family or Vegeta Clan battle member. This equipment is absolutely core on a future team right now. And if you're not running this, you're pretty much selling the bag. This is the best pure that you could probably run on a blast-based future team right now. Only potentially second to this next equipment we're going to be talking about, which is this Zamasu pure that gives 28% strike defense, 20% blast defense, and then it finishes it off with another 20% to either base strike or blast and a 12% pure. As you guys can see, there is a massive jump there. The other equipment had a 12% buff on the blast attack and 3% more on the pure. So I would highly recommend you guys just grind that new awakened equip, but if you have this one already, it's not that much worse, so you can still use this while you wait to grind the other one, because we don't currently have any equipment campaigns or stuff like that. But that is going to cover every single equip that you should be considering running for Gohan and Trunks, depending on your team and how you want to build them. With that being said, let's get into the team guide portion. Alright guys, we are here with the team guide portion, and the first team we're going to be taking a look at is the Hybrid Saiyans team. The way we have constructed this team is we have Gohan and Trunks on leader. That way we are able to run Gogeta Blue on bench to Zenkai buff our Beast Gohan. And that will also still give us the ability to our Gotenks here, who then also gets the HP from the yellow Gotenks and the Z ability from the blue Sword of Hope. The reason we have blue Sword of Hope here is because he's giving a little bit more strike attack for our future Gohan to be good, or for our Beast Gohan to be good, while giving a Zenkai buff to these guys. And then with that, and the double offense abilities between these two guys, we do have enough blast and strike attack to have double pures on every unit on the team pretty much. The only one that kind of cuts it close is Gotenks, since he is not getting a Zenkai buff, but the team is more blast focused, so he does get enough to still get his double with these specific equips. For Gohan and Trunks, this is the equipment setup we are running for them. Like we were talking about earlier in the equip guide, we are running this kids equip that you need to be able to have a Gotenks with. And that is the main thing that is different. And other than that, we're just running the two core equips that we talked about, which is the Awakened Bestowed Hope, as well as the new UG equip. That is what we are running for Gohan and Trunks. If you guys want to see what equips are on the other units, here you go. And that, I think, is probably their best individual setup in terms of their overall and what you could run them for. But I don't think it's going to be where you're going to see their best performance, because this doesn't utilize as much of how many different Zenkai buffs these guys have access to, and that is something that you guys will see as we do move forward into the other teams. The second team we're going to be taking a look at is this kind of a movies team, kind of an 18 team, kind of PO team, where you are running a Zenkai buffer, obviously, for your Gohan and Trunks, with being that GV, and then you have a Zenkai buffed 18 and a Zenkai buffed Turles. The Turles obviously being there to tank for your Gohan and Trunks, while also being a revive option, and then 18 providing support for both of the units. The other reason that Gohan and Trunks are on this team is obviously to give that future equip some value. We are kind of experimenting with this. Probably going to be taking this off. This isn't as good as I thought it was. I thought this was double defense and all that stuff, but it's not. So it could be better. It could be better. But we do have two equips of that grinded up. And then, as you guys can see here, we are working on getting the slot 1 upgraded, and this is the new Awakened Pure that we were talking about. Since on this team we are able to run it, that is what we are doing with that. Turles is also existing, but if you guys want to see the full equips for that setup, there you go. This is just more so for a 1x18 showcase, but this is one of the teams you can run. Now, this team, I do think, is potentially both the best team in the game, while also being the best team for Gohan and Trunks. The reason being that they are getting 3 times Zenkai buffed here, with all 3 of their Zenkai abilities giving them blast attack. So they have an absolutely ludicrous amount of stats that they receive from this team. Also because the 2 tag units are giving them 40% each, rather than the usual like 40-35. So that gives them a absolutely ridiculous amount of stats, as you guys can see right here. If we go to their tag, these are all the stats that they're getting, and then look at all these Zenkai buffs, man. Like, it's absolutely insane. And then on top of that, you also have Purple Vegeta providing both extension to your combos, as well as support and death buffs. And then Green Vegito also, just even though he is not Zenkai buffed, there's ridiculous amount of blast attack on this team alone, because every single person on this team, you're getting a 5 times blast attack Z ability minimum before you even start factoring in the Zenkai buffs that are on Gohan and Trunks. So Vegito Blue is getting more than enough blast attack to be good, but then on top of that, he's getting the support and death buff from Purple Vegeta as well as Gohan and Trunks. And it just absolutely flows so well. And there's nothing you can do to stop Vegito once he gets going, because he just has immunity to everything and he just goes through combos. So it's absolutely ridiculous amounts of damage. These are the equips we are running. For Gohan and Trunks, you could decide to run a triple pure setup here, and it wouldn't be a bad choice. I just like running this equip to make them a little bit more durability because I don't struggle to do damage with them at all on this team. And then for this Vegito, this is what we're currently running. He's more so damage focused, but this equipment was there for defense. We will have to find a replacement for that, as it does not give the exact defenses that we would have liked for it to give. So we will go ahead and try to find a replacement for that equipment somewhere. But unfortunately, that is not currently going to be possible. There isn't really too many different options for that right now. But that is fine. We can run this equip for now. Now, another team you can run for Gohan and Trunks is going to be this 4X Zenkai buff team. This is a pretty viable team. The only issue being obviously that you're running a Rose right there. You could replace Rose with the GV and that would be fine as well. I just opted to go with Rose because I just felt like it, to be honest. There wasn't really much thought or reason behind that particularly. It's just a 4X Zenkai buff juice team. Same thing with this 5X one. These are just kind of juice teams. These aren't really practical. They're just kind of something you do if you want to have some fun. So those are options if you guys want to have some fun. Now, other than that, we do have a Vegeta Clan team here that we are setting up. Kind of a mix of Strike and Blast here because we do have Gohan and Trunks who are Blast and then Majin Vegeta who is Strike. And then according to that, we do have our Zenkai bench organized. We did opt for the Purple Vegeta to provide the support, combo extension, and everything else that he does with the equips that we talked about earlier. I did opt for the defensive equip from the co-op on this team. That is just to provide them a little bit more durability, but again, it gives primarily pure blast defense, where in the current meta, I would probably venture that you want more strike defense. So it's probably best to change that equip out to something else. But this is one of the teams that we are considering to run for these guys. The last team that we will be taking a look at is the standard current best future team that you can probably run. You could take Yellow Goku Black over Yellow 18, but I do think Yellow 18 does the job better. And these are the equips that we are running on that setup. Again, getting a lot of pure blast defense with that equip that we might need to change out just because it's more of a strike meta. But it is a very, very solid team. Zenkai buff Vegito is very good. The new pure makes him do a lot of damage. And I would honestly probably venture to say we replace this Trunks equip with this new pure. At the time when I initially made this team, I did not have that pure, so that is why we didn't initially replace it. But it is overall a very solid setup. That is going to be the last setup for this video for Trunks and Gohan. With that being said, if you guys enjoyed the video, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And let me know what kind of theory craft teams you guys are cooking up with them. Boy Eisen, signing out.